Welcome everyone back to the Crimson 15 Podcast. I'm your host, Crimson Sin.
M15 PCA.
Be sure to follow us over on Twitter at C15 Podcast. Join the discussion over on Discord, link in the description below. If you're enjoying the videos, be sure to like, sub, share, and hit that bell for notifications. On this episode of All About the Orville Comments, we're going to be doing episode 11, Lasting Impressions. And if you're the first time you've been here watching these videos, we start with the top comment, and then we work our way down. And we'll start, our very first one's going to be Raw, or RA. I freaking love this episode. This is why this show is so awesome. Even the simple stories, they manage to inject emotional stuff. And that's always been, I don't think there's ever been an episode of The Orville that had been like, oh, that's just so horrible, I'm never going to watch it again.
No.
Even the ones that I disliked, I still found things that I liked about it.
Oh, yeah.
And they always have that, the emotional moments, because in this one, you feel bad for him because he's got his like pretend girlfriend, but it's like it's not real. But to him in that moment, it feels real.
It's more tragic because when the other case, when there was another person what you consider would have a problem with the simulator was Bortus, but that was just gratification. This is actually trying to have a relationship.
He actually cared. The other one was just like a sexual thing.
Yeah,
nothing
exactly.
Else.
See, that's why you feel bad for Malloy here.
And again, I pre-apologize for messing up anyone's usernames, but they're going to be up on screen. Mysticaril81. Again, I'm so sorry. I enjoyed this episode, but poor Gordon got caught up in the feels in which he came out learning what love is, and hopefully he'll get a leading lady himself too. Also, they're missing Isaac's interactions with the team and Finn's family. Sure, they mentioned him, but they weren't going to see him again in any episode, not just for a few seconds. Hopefully, just more and more of these in the last 3 episodes. Just to talk about the second part first, this whole thing with Isaac, there needs to be like an animosity episode.
That's what I was saying. Even saying that a little bit earlier today.
Where there needs to be something where, because it's not like, oh, all is forgiven.
I'm not saying they have to be our hatred, but I tried one episode where Finn and Isaac go to Earth, and maybe they go visit Baltimore. And, and she introduced him to her family. Go, wasn't that but they don't try to kill the human race. So it's like, I want to be the tension. There's got to be a little bit. Give me that. And
it's something more, it's impossible for Isaac to be sorry, but for him to feel, oh, okay, the things that happened had repercussions.
Yeah. Well, like Kalon Prime would say, empathy.
Yeah.
You'd have to feel some of that.
And to get to the first part of your comment, it would be nice for Malloy to actually get like a real relationship, because everything always seems to fall apart or blow up in his face, or he never even gets it off the ground. But he really like fell in love with this pretend girl, and it's like,
but it's so bad you can kind of see when he first sees her on that cell phone, he was smitten as soon as he saw that video.
Because like, oh, I got to know her, but without, it's just tough. It's tough for him because it was such a convincing simulation.
Yeah.
And he had no control over it. But once he started tampering with it,
what little leeway he had that it was going on its own cell phone, then it became his show, and that's not real anymore.
Day free. Gordon trying to make a hollow avatar of a woman brings up questions of using personas likenesses, much like Barclay using the likeness of his senior staff, or Geordi creating a simulation of the Enterprise engine designer, and then the real one found out in real life an iPad, $150 infrared scanner, can capture a person's likeness for the use in 3D animation. The tech is based off an Xbox camera. They misstrued it of how it runs off of a battery. The technology is accessible to a modern consumer. With professional work with Leah and Tarkin CGI in movies, this would be good to see more stories about the ethics of using technology like this, because we now have that in the real world. Here's the thing, like in certain movies, you have to license the likeness of people. Like if there's a video game based off a popular movie, they get the movie license but not the license of the main character, so it'll look kind of like the main character. That happens a lot in I remember like some of the James Bond video games.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They didn't license the likeness.
Well, it's funny about when you also not only say that, even if they do like it, sometimes they don't get the voice. It's weird, like these weird little subtext when it comes to like trying to get all the licenses for everything.
And here's the thing, let's say speaking of like what Barclay was doing, what if you work with that person? Isn't that a violation of me? You know what I'm saying? If
I'm sure there's probably something in the Federation Charter saying that you can't use the likeness of a...
Oh, so what if I give her blonde hair? Is that enough?
That's a little bit more. But see, in this case, this lady's long dead, so there's no... And at least in the world of Orville, there wouldn't be a problem here. That's a more problem that Malloy's falling for, as opposed to...
Like personal... It's so funny because and even today we have all this VR stuff, and this, of course, is going to be adult material. Is there a law for you not to take, let's say, like a popular celebrity and put them in one of these things?
I'm sure they're already doing it now.
Yeah, it's probably happening all over the place, but I mean, the laws about that, like, do you own the way your face looks?
And I like how you prefaced this question, because you didn't necessarily say this episode did that, because of which it didn't, because I don't think that was the point of the episode.
But it's the what you're thinking.
But it is a subtext of it. And I think you're putting it in a more broader place when you talk about today's times. Well, yeah. And it can take your likeness and use it for anything. I mean, it could happen.
I know celebrities have lawyers and stuff, and they could probably figure out a way, but what about the everyday person?
Yeah, what if you're just
what about that weirdo pervert who likes that girl?
Yeah, that beautiful woman, and he takes a picture of her, and he has, like, the technology to put her
Scan it.
Yeah. Put her in a movie, a porno that's not her body, but he just puts her face on it. Could happen.
There's gonna be some interesting stuff with technology, and I think science fiction is a good way to interact and to discuss those things, because that is something that could happen. If you had like a perfect simulation of someone, do you have any right to? Because what if it doesn't even have to be sexual? Just like someone just being like a weird pervert, or even like a violent thing. Oh, I want to make my boss so I can beat him up. I mean, that's not. Could that be illegal?
All I know if that was addressed in Callister on the Black Mirror.
Because he was torturing those people.
Yeah, he was.
But see, that's weird, and that's not good. That's not healthy for anybody.
It's not.
But it's an interesting question, and hopefully maybe we do get an episode like that where someone's like, hey, I don't want this person using me in their little fantasy games.
That might be, but I think that's definitely going to be hit head on. I don't think this, like I said, this episode necessarily tackled that. I think that was in the background, but it was there.
It's interesting, though.
It's an interesting point. I like how you, like I said, you phrased it, so I thought that was a very good comment.
Leslie Mingo. Bortus smoking on the deck was too much for me, lol. And then his partner sniffing and eating the cigarette, and then the fighting over it. Also, the actress that plays the hologram girlfriend was in the show Gossip Girl. Well, I didn't know that, but it was almost slapstick when they were like beating the crap out of each other, because they're both like physically strong.
Yeah.
So, but when he's like, "You take one more step, you're gonna regret it," and he freaking decks him. Man, it's so funny. And then the fact that she walks in and she's like, "Oh, who wants this?" I'm like, they both
get this out of me. I don't want this anymore.
You notice how they were like binge eating too?
Yeah.
Just to like,
another habit just to eat. So, but that's not going to be enough. You got to get that cigarette.
That was so funny.
Oh, I loved it. I love those two. They're my favorite couple on the Orville. They're so funny.
Again, I apologize for messing up your last name, but Daniel Gravel. I'm sorry. Imagine if Bortus still had his porn stash while smoking the cigarettes. Sure to have become an instant erotica icon right there. The big old thick mustache, cigarette in his mouth. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Literally, this guy made a meme of it, but he was a Marlboro man, had the cowboy hat and like the jacket, like the jean jacket.
It's flavor country.
I love it. That's a perfect look for Bortus. I'm sorry. I love that mustache. Bring back the mustache.
Max Bootstrap. This was an okay episode, but I would have been much better if they would have thrown in a science fiction curveball. For example, after the girl starts to fall for Gordon, they fly through some anomaly which causes the synthetic consciousness of the girl to become functional rather than synthetic or simulated. Or perhaps gets transferred into the body of some female crew member who had just died. Then that really good bit of the story where she laments of how humans are forgotten, and as part of the reason she is helping with some of the capsule could really pay off later on in the story when Gordon takes her off the holodeck into the spaceship and shows her what kind of craft he pilots, and explains how the time capsule led to her consciousness leaping hundreds of years into the future and helping the future archaeologists understand the 21st century or something along those lines. That's kind of cool.
Actually, that's an amazing story, what you said.
That's a pretty cool one.
But I like the way they did it too. Like, it's not, either one's not bad per se.
This one is more sci-fi.
Yeah.
Another one was more like a personal, because it could never be real.
Well, but here's a funny thing about it though. I don't know if that's his whole comment, right?
Yeah.
Or this person's comment, I should say. Wouldn't that have been funny? But then she goes back to the archaeologist lab where she could teach them about the 21st century, and it'd be selfish for her to stay with Malloy. So that could have been an interesting little dynamic.
There's like a bunch of different ways to do it. That's a pretty cool way of doing it. I still like the episode because it was more of a personal thing for Gordon.
And I'm glad Malloy's getting that. Yeah. I really am.
And I guess it would have been like doubly heartbreaking if she somehow became real. Then she still.
Well, she goes, maybe I can teach them about my century, and maybe I don't know anything to do on the ship. I don't have the expertise to do this. I was a sales clerk at Macy's. I mean, what am I gonna do?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, she sold dresses and.
Yeah, well, that's not totally useless when you have like replicated technology.
DAM Marocco. All access this episode. I keep thinking this that's not a true representation of the woman she was. There may be tons of messages and videos and pictures of her interactions, but I don't think it would be enough to create a simulation of a person that you can interact with and have a drink at a bar. I think the way that the present ourselves in a video, picture, or take with a friend, that's a cleaner version of ourselves. Plus, how many times we misinterpret a feeling or an intention in behind a text message. Perhaps I'm just paranoid. There was a moment where Malloy says, "Oh, that's my dad's name," and I thought, don't tell me that they're gonna go with the great-great-great-grandmother storyline. Fortunately, they didn't, which means they can have they have good writers. Exactly, that'd have been kind of gross.
Oh yeah, they're related.
They would have pulled a freaking Futurama.
Yeah.
And but. They had all of her text messages and they had all her videos and everything, and it's as close as you could get.
And remember, their technology is so more advanced. Maybe they could fill in those plot holes, basically.
And of course, it also had it could take. Oh, this time she lied to this person. This time she was more honest, and
but it did follow the checks logically because she did get back with her boyfriend.
Yeah.
So
hey, for as well as it could do, I think it could be a good enough simulation to have a conversation with and hang out with, but have a full. Complete life? Maybe not.
Maybe not. But I think it did as good as it could.
Continues on. Overall, good episodes besides the craziness with Bortus and Klyden. I love that part.
That part was
funny. It was kind of sad. The underlying situation with Malloy being so lonely and the way it takes him to reenact the two things is sad for me. How he reacts to things is sad to me. I'm not saying it's bad. The fact that it's good to tackle this kind of topics, it gives the character some more dimensions. Yeah, it makes... These are the character episodes that are not present in Discovery.
But again, you have to like the characters. We don't know anything about the character Discovery.
At the end of this episode, you care more about Malloy.
Yeah.
You care about him now.
Yeah.
It just if you did it before,
more.
you do a little bit more.
Yep.
And so if something bad happens to him later on, you make that connection.
Yep.
When Robot Lady died on Discovery, I had no connection to her, so I didn't care.
Yeah, and they try to make this phony.
Yeah, this huge giant funeral for her, and nobody cares.
We don't know this person.
If freaking Gordon died...
Oh
my goodness, that would be so horrible.
Well, that's why I knew in Firestorm he wasn't dead. I go, no way they'd kill him off like that, but he might giant spider.
But it means something.
Yeah.
But that's why I like these kinds of episodes. They finish up. I heard already that the episode didn't have much sci-fi, and then it was a relationship episode. But I would like to challenge that because it brings into question, can technology evolve so much and be so accurate that we fall in love with the simulation? And where is the line between the psychological issue of being in love like anyone else? After all, the years go, people create cemeteries for Tamagotchis, which sounds insane. Is it really that event in history of species shows that we can care, and can we develop a type of relationship with things that are in other times and context may be viewed as impossible or even crazy? Also, where's Isaac? Sorry for my bad English. It's a long comment. No, that's fine. We love long comments.
Yes, we do.
Just bring us every idea and thought, random thing. We like talking about the Orville. It's that good of a show for us.
We love it.
We love talking about it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, people do make connections to things. Even like when someone passes away and they have their items left behind, those items almost become sacred to that family. To like a wife, a son, a daughter, and you hold on to those things.
And when you mention Isaac, that's why he's puzzled. Like, they're just things. Who cares? Like, that's what a robotic life form would think.
Oh, you get rid of it.
Yeah, get rid of it. It's stupid.
Yeah, who cares what this girl from whatever thinks?
Yeah.
Because she wasn't even an important person.
Yeah.
But everyone matters.
Yep.
And you get to know that one person on that personal level, even though it was all those years ago.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be crazy if we could somehow get into the mind of someone? We have journals and stuff like that, but to recreate them and have a conversation with them.
That's exactly what even like Tuvok, no one's mentioned Tim Russ was in this episode, was saying like, but we get to know this person now because we can read through the text and we get to see this person.
The more personal little interactions.
Yeah, we knew what happened, but we want to see the people.
Yeah, I went to work today. There's all the little mundane things you don't get.
And it's funny with Gordon, I think it's even more attached because he made that cell phone. See, and then he got to get text from her when he was out in the real world. That even made it even more
real to him.
Yeah.
So the simulation was running when he wasn't there.
Yeah.
On the freaking bridge with texting back and forth. You're at work, man. Put that crap away.
Exactly.
Vlad Drac II. This episode made me want cigarettes again. That addiction can stick with you for life, and in the real stress reliever. That's the truth about cigs. Yeah. Any type of alcohol, drug, anything like that, because it's an addiction and it makes you feel better. And the fact that they were smoking so many cigarettes, you think they went through thousands?
Oh, maybe 10,000. But you know what's so crazy about it? I'm thinking, if people had something like that now and they're addicted to cigarettes, oh my goodness. If they're drugs, it'd be crazy.
If you could have unlimited access to a vice like that,
there'd be so many deaths, it'd be insane. You'll be smoking cigarettes.
Thin out the population for sure.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Grimm, like Jordy and Leah Burham's, just not as good. Bortus was funny, but felt like a smoking PSA. Overall, not one of Orville's best. I still liked it.
That was good. Well,
this parallels to other.
The thing, but see, they showed two different ones. The one's falling in love with someone on the holiday because in the cigarettes, it was this parallel to the two. And that's Leah Brahms.
Yeah, Brahms.
That's fun.
And the thing is, the smoking PSA, but it was funny though.
Yeah,
it was probably the most effective smoking PSA, if that's what it was. I took it as slapstick comedy.
Yeah, but here's the funny thing about it. To see, this is the old thing. Like, you can show aliens do that. Mm-hmm. See, that's funny. That's he does not get away with that with Roger all the time. American Dad.
And what makes it funny too is because Mocklins, by their nature, are addictive.
Oh yeah,
because they can take so much of everything. Yeah. Make 500 cigarettes and giant stack them.
Oh, he does it right away. I love it.
It went from smoking 1 to going to 500. That is quite.
Well, that's crazy. They would so bad. I remember Finn saying, "We won't go without having a drag. You have to take every 10 seconds." My goodness, guys, can you imagine?
Always have one in their hand at all times. Yeah. Again, from Vlad Drak II, Malloy shared what was essentially a dating sim with his friends. Yeah, I know. It was like his fake anime waifu girlfriend on the computer. This is so embarrassing.
It's embarrassing, but the worst thing, it is a real environment. You can touch the person. You can touch it. You can talk to it. But it just makes it even worse.
What's more embarrassing? The fact that he's doing it, or he thought that everyone else would be cool with it.
I think both are bad.
It's like, hey guys, come check out this cool thing I did. And
I just want to see when he's playing charades when he didn't know Dick Van Dyke and he had a job.
Sorry, man, I had panic there.
I don't know who the guy is.
That's so gross. Jeff B. If the Union ever wanted to capture Mocklin, all they could do is replicate SIGs and drop them on the Mocklin to ingest. I wonder what the actor playing Klyden actually ate. Yeah, I know what the fake cigarette is probably. I don't know. They always have like prop stuff.
Probably just like sugar. Probably like they have the sugar cigarettes. He probably ate that. Like
it's like candy or something. Yeah. But talk about a biological weapon, right? Just drop off cigarettes.
Marvel, man, they want to go in the future. They have to corner the mark in the Mocklist.
There was a comment to that one. Dr. Zoom. I think there was a lot of fake cigarettes going on. The smokes around Bortus's head looked like CGI to me. Of course, I don't think they would have him actually smoking tons of like actual real cigarettes. They probably used a lot of computer stuff to make the smoking and the light. But it was it's all for comedic value.
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay.
Vandal L. I hope I'm saying that right. I do like the way that Tala looked at the cap and the eyeglasses after she left the simulator. She looked so sexy. Certain women can really pull off a ball cap, and I thought she looked really cute in it.
She did.
And it was gonna, how do I look? Damn Yankees! Oh, how did it be a Yankees hat?
I know there's a lot of people that like Laura Decon and they thought they were attracted to her, but I saw her little sister. Now, Laura, I see her as okay. She's a woman.
Yeah,
I think I could be attracted to her and not feel creepy and like
super pervert. Because it just almost felt like, like you were saying, like she felt like kid sister.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she's my young little pal. I'm trying to help along. Yeah. Tala, it feels more like a mature woman.
Yeah, she's like in her late 20s, early 30s. It feels a little more. It feels so,
The Hunter Wolf was responding to that last comment. LOLs. I almost didn't recognize her at first, but yeah, she looked cool. It was funny because all those little items. There was an X-Men shirt, some flip flops, all these little cool things to see. Someone from the future looking like, what the hell's all this crap? Yeah. I mean, we'd be just perplexed if you grabbed some stuff from like.
Oh yeah, can you imagine that was 350 years ago? So think about that and equate to us. That would be us getting stuff from like the 16th century.
Yeah.
17th. What is some of this stuff? We don't know what this does. We'd be perplexed.
Next comment, KJH. It was good to see Tim Russ. I wish we had gotten a few more lines though. This was a good twist on the hollow love trope. But I don't think we have ever seen it done in in a sci-fi quite the way it was done with the simulator. Again, I always end up calling it the holodeck just because
I'm getting used to saying simulator.
I've been saying holodeck for over a decade.
Oh, plus. Decades going back to next generation. We're talking decades.
So it's environmental simulator.
I just say simulator. That's the best way. So you
and recreate in in recreating an actual person with plenty of information to draw on. Usually it's just a loose recreation of some historical figure, a modified version of someone that we already know, or a complete fabrication. Gordon immersed himself in the person's actual life and a few, if any, assumptions by the computer. So it makes sense that Gordon would catch some feels. However, Bortus and Klyden were out of control funny. Some of us whine about character episodes, but without them, episodes like Identity wouldn't have as much weight. Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. And I just think when they had access to so much information of this woman's personal life, the simulation was that much more complete.
She probably had that cell phone for about 5-6 years. So
and some people never delete any of their stuff. Like I go through like once a month and delete all my messages because I don't like having all that clutter. But I know people who have text messages from years and years ago.
But it's because she had to find a fix it to the wireless communication facility. WTF, that's what it is.
It's so funny.
That's amazing.
And Tim Russ, oh man, I just closed my eyes. It's Tuvok. It's Tuvok.
I like saying Tuvok. That's so cool.
He just I loved him on with Voyager. I always liked those characters that are always they're the perfect foils for like the captains, because the captains just have all this passion and energy, and then you have the Vulcans that are always like that. Wait a second, that isn't a smart thing to do. It's like, shut up, I don't want to hear it. I don't care what you have to say.
I love it.
But they're always good though. You always need those type of characters, and to see Tim Russ doing more sci-fi, I just love it.
Yeah, that's what I said. I still love the fact there's so many Star Trek people on this show. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I agree with the character episodes. They mean so much. They're building blocks.
Yeah, they are.
You build the foundation for bigger things.
Yep.
Because you can't just put up the walls and put a roof on a house without having framework or anything, and it all just falls apart. We have again an example of Discovery does that. If you want a better example of why character episodes matter, you watch this series, then watch Discovery, and you're like, oh, I really don't care about anyone on the bridge.
No.
I still don't know all their names.
Nope.
And it's been almost doing it 2 seasons already.
Yep.
The Hunter Wolf. Bortus is deadpan humor generator. He's so damn serious about everything he does, no matter how ridiculous it is. No matter like he'll eat anything, he'll react to anything. He takes everything so seriously. I remember we were talking about in season 1, and when in the meeting room, and Mercer's like, man, we need to get some chips or something like that on the table when people come over. Bortus like, I will not fail you, Captain. It's like, it's not that important, man.
Yeah, just make sure it happens. Okay, you don't have to make like a top priority.
It is going to be my priority to bring snacks into the room.
Yeah, no, we're going to battle here, Bortus. Okay, I'm just asking you to do a simple request. This is life or death.
Even the birthday cake.
Yeah.
Oh, I want the corner piece. And a rose.
That's why he's my favorite. I love Bortus.
And it's almost like, are you kidding? No, I am dead serious. I want that piece.
Then he gets another piece. He goes, well, I hate this party. Okay, Bortus, you can still get the corner piece. You don't have to eat that.
It just adds to the funniness of all of it. I just love that character. Vandal. One thing I did notice about the time capsules were the actual products of today. Smart way to get some advertising during the show. I wonder how much the Orville got paid for that. Yeah, some of the things like oh, look at this. I remember there was some like snack foods and things like that. It's just fun and it makes it feel more real.
Well, funny is they have the rights to X-Men, so they didn't have to pay for that.
Yeah. The X-Men in the future. I know the X-Men will continue on until.
So we know X-Men is a thing now in Orville. That's cool. That'd be awesome. They had movies of X-Men in their time. Can you imagine?
Kevin Jones. I enjoyed this episode. Sure, it was a little predictable and slow, but it was an enjoyable watch. Although you feel for poor Gordon, he really needs a girlfriend. And the subplot with Bortus and Klyden addicted to nicotine was hilarious. And it was fascinating and a little creepy how the computer was able to create a whole program of a person's life off their phone. You know what? I guess that also is a commentary about how we live so much on our mobile devices. Mm-hmm. If you had someone's computer and their phone and access to like their online photos and everything, you could probably make a pretty close representation of that person.
Yeah, you couldn't actually make a physical hologram, but you could steal their information. You could easily do that.
Yeah, and have all like there's where you go, what you buy, what you do, how many times you go to Starbucks, and what kind of stuff you buy at the store. All that information is there.
Yeah.
So the futuristic computer can probably build a pretty good likeness of you.
Oh yeah, they could.
And it is scary to think about that. Like they could make a full-blown simulation of you without like your permission.
Oh yeah, without your consent. Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Dr. Zoom responded to that. I kind of wish they would have included John Lamar in the scene with Malloy and Kelly. I think it would have taken somewhat of a sad ending of the episode and added some hope for Malloy. If John had been there to tell him that he saw how the girl was around and whatever he did with her he needs to do with the real life woman, giving Malloy a psychological lift he needs. I think that would have worked too, because that Kelly kind of talked him up and let him know that those connections we make are special and it means something to you. Lamar again is like the playa of
the thing about Lamar is he doesn't understand. He says, "I don't get it." Because even the girl broke up with me, said I could still have sex, but so was it. I don't know what you're going through. I've never gotten broken up before like that.
It's cool to see that they have a real friendship.
Yeah.
It really feels real. Again, always making parallels to Discovery, because how could you not? The only people that have any type of
Burnham in Suru?
In Suru a little bit, and Burnham and Tilly. Yeah. But that's really it. You can see how Malloy, his friendship with Kelly is different than his friendship with Malloy, which is different from his friendship with Mercer. But they're all friends.
Yeah.
But they have different levels of how they interact with each other. Yeah. Just like how real people have close friends, they have acquaintances at work, they have buddies they meet up on the weekend. We all have different kind of interactions, and they do it so well in the show.
Yeah, you like you said, you can see Mercer and Lamar and Malloy all go in the simulator
together.
Do anything. But with Kelly, he wouldn't do that. But he wouldn't mind, he could go and eat with her somewhere, but not be,
Yeah, it's different.
That friendly, yeah.
But they still are friends, and they still care about each other on the level of friendship. It's just different.
Yeah.
It feels so, it's natural.
Yeah.
I love this show.
I can't get enough of it.
I care about all these characters.
Yeah, all of them.
I want them to be happy. I want Malloy to be happy. And I want him not to be so sad because of the blood of the Patriots. His best friend had to die. Now the fake girlfriend he fell in love with, couldn't go anywhere.
And then even not only that, look, even Captain Mercer, he hasn't found love either. He's been struck out a couple times too.
Fall in love with the enemy, right?
Yeah.
Lame bubbles fly so high. It was fun, but I hope they would do less of these copies of old Trek episodes. Season 2 is unfortunately full of them throughout. Though they're well done, I can't not notice it. But remember, it's been so long.
Yeah.
It's been so long since these type of, again, I want to say tropey type episodes, and it feels fresh because it's been so freaking long.
Yeah, that's the one thing we said early on when we talked about the Orville. You have to remember, there's been, let's see, Next Generation ended in 93?
Yeah.
Guys, that's almost well over 20 years, almost 30 years now.
And a lot of these, again, we're old sci-fi fans, but I'm hoping there's a lot of new fans out there, and this is the first exposure to these type of storylines.
Yes.
And I'm glad they're well done, and they're not just like carbon copies.
Yeah.
They put their own spin on it.
And you have to realize, and then Star Trek did this the first time, and Orville doing it. Not every future sci-fi has to be dystopian. There can be a hopeful future, and they're seeing that again. And I'm so glad that the young fans that never saw maybe Next Generation get to see that now for the first time.
Oh, where the bridge is, you can see things.
Colorful, yeah.
Like they're in a dink-dank submarine. Slicer Neons. I really enjoyed this episode. T, again, I think is a mess up here. They've done a tremendous job fleshing out the characters to be realistic, relatable, and endearing. Feel great empathy for Gordon going through this. Being single is hard, especially when you see all the other relationships happening around you. You start wondering what you're doing wrong, or if you aren't ever going to be happy like everyone else is. How alone you start to feel, and feel desperate for being surrounded by others. Several Star Trek episodes deal with this subject of relationships with the fictional character. I like how this one stood out on its own, and it certainly reminded me of others like the EMH and the Vivian woman, Gordy and Dr. Lay. Go away. Here we go. Nice guys really do seem to have to finish last, don't they? Yeah, I know. It doesn't always seem that way. Like you said, again, we kind of just said what we just said again, where it felt fresh, and it's cool to have these type of storylines again. And you do feel bad for them because even Kelly and Mercer have that kind of they're not together, but they do have a special relationship.
Yeah.
And of course, Lamar's always getting the ladies, so he has the physical side of that relationship. Then freaking even Dr. Finn and a robot ended up getting together, and there's Malloy just sitting there. Oh, no one likes me.
Because Bortus and Klyden were already married, so it's like
yeah. So you do have that feeling of like, when's it my turn?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, and you feel bad for him because he is a nice guy.
He is.
Kind of a lazy guy at sometimes. Sometimes he's a little too aloof, but he's a good guy.
But it's funny, like, even when he's talking to that girl, they click so well. It's funny, even though they're 400 years apart, they click so well because he didn't babble on like he does with other women, He did it. He was able to be himself without being himself. Yeah, exactly. That just took someone from a long time ago. That's not even real anymore.
They continue on. This pair had great chemistry together. You could completely understand why and how Gordon has such strong feelings for her. I knew it was going to remove Greg when he did, and heard Janeway X delete the wife. Here's the thing. But again, once he tampered with it, your whole this is really hurt. You changed it.
Yeah.
You took whatever little tiny bit of, I guess, what was on your side for doing this, it all goes away.
I will quote twice. The first time Kelly said that's a real stretch. The first time before he even did it, but then when he did change, he goes, now it became Malloy simulation. You can't. It's not real anymore. You can't change that. That was a big part of her life.
Yeah. When did I hear Janeway say delete the wife from the Irish Folktown program?
Yeah, I know, Fairhaven.
Yeah.
Funny about that, though, he was already a simulation to begin with. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of the same thing, but not really, because he's not a real person. He
the thing is, a lot of people hated those episodes. It was a nice way to break up everything that was happening with Voyager. That you got this fun holodeck.
Why did Tom Paris have to do it? See, Tom Paris, I want to have leprechauns and and the Banshee and Mickey always about the fantasy.
There'd be like some type of like crazy
magical
thing.
Yeah, he didn't do any of that. Like, oh, come on.
But I think Janeway just wanted something simple to live the simple life. But
that was Tom Paris' simulation, though. He could have made the fantasy element. But I digress. I don't know. It's
just one of those funny things when they brought up Fairhaven. It's just all the memories of
the spirit folk.
Though her consequences were different, I'm really rooting for Gordon to find someone special now. Wild idea, maybe Tala? Good people need to be with other good people. As for the B plot, it was an excellent anti-smoking ad. When the pillow just burst open, I got a little nauseous. I'm glad I've never smoked. Here's the thing, it was just so funny. I just love that whole B plot. Even if you take out, they try to teach people smoking's bad. It could have been anything with that type of interactions.
I think it's more just how the Mocklins are. Like, even Finn says you two. It's always you two all the time with these stuff.
What the hell's wrong with you guys? But hey, Tala and
I know. Remember, I was about to mention this, but I'm glad someone brought it up because I forgot about we were talking about this when he first went to her office. I go, "Are you asking me out?" Like, she was kind of like, was she willing to go with that?
Well, she was willing to date that Mocklin guy.
Yeah, exactly.
She got a little bit of heartbreak there, but that was a one-day romance, so it wasn't really deep.
So bad. Yeah, it wasn't like Malloy going through like weeks of this, Yeah, definitely.
Every second he spent with her, it just made it that much harder.
And the point talking about when he took away that thread of Greg, then she lost the music, and he knows, well, if I keep changing, it's going to be less and less.
It's not really her because he really wanted to fall in love with her, not this version of her that he created.
And almost I wish Malloy could go back in the time and just meet her in
somehow
real life.
He was somehow
go back in 2015.
That little ending part where they take pictures like, I'm moving out of state and I'm gonna go work on experimental aircraft, and it's like he takes that picture and it's like a real picture.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so simple.
Yeah, it's like they put in the capsule, and he forgot from it. Capsule. Oh yeah, this is happening because of that. That's so funny.
That's so.
So that was at the end of it. So who knows what it'd been like afterwards?
See, everything after that would have been truly a simulation.
Yeah.
Not all. You feel bad for the guy.
Yeah.
Brandon Ortiz. This episode was similar to the Jordan of the Forge holodeck episode when he fell in love with Dr. Barmas. Galaxy's Child. But it had the emotional impact of Picard's Flute episode, The Inner Light. Here's the thing. You can draw so many comparisons. Again, and these are good things. It's a good thing it was like those episodes because those were good episodes too.
But the thing is, when that episode, that was such a great episode for Next Generation. And I would say even a similar one when even Malloy mentions it with the Captain Mercer about him falling in love with that krill. They both didn't know it wasn't real. See, Malloy knew from the beginning this wasn't real.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
It didn't look like he woke up and whoa, where am I? And
like Picard did. Like he didn't know that was a simulation. Literally, think about that. That was 40 years of his life, but only 45 minutes in real time. That's insane.
Again, man, I remember they played on that same concept in Deep Space Nine where, you get a prison sentence, it feels like a life sentence.
Oh, the Brian one was so good.
But the psychological damage that can do to somebody. Yeah. I mean, that's another thing. If you can live in a quick time simulation where your punishment's over, it's only been 10 minutes, but you went through that psychological...
But he was in there for like 40, 50
He killed
years.
that dude.
Yeah, he did at the end. That one moment of weakness, and if he just would have held on a little longer, but he just couldn't do it. They won. They took away his humanity.
Yeah, they broke him.
Yeah,
it took him all those years, but they broke him.
Yeah.
This is a broader scope of simulations being used and how they affect on the human psyche. But this is just another one because falling in love with a simulation, that's going to happen. We're going to get to the point where you can do VR things without...
People fall in love with things they can't even touch yet.
Yeah.
And they just see it on a screen. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, people fall in love with the characters on TV shows and in animes and video games. Yeah. And so imagine if you could put it into a little room and you could talk to it and it can physically touch you.
I'll forget it.
And he fell out of the bed. That was hilarious.
That was hilarious. And he forgot he was in the simulator bed. I saw special effects how I did it. It was like a lift and they just went like this. It's so funny.
I love it. It's so cool.
And get on the bed first.
Our last comment here, Caveat Lector. The episode was textbook definition of money saving because we splurged so hard on the epic two-parter filler. It didn't really move the episode forward in any substantial way other than to give Gordon a character episode not only pales in comparison to Blood of the Patriots, but also diminishes him a bit, portraying him as a needy, petty, pathetic loser who falls in love with the simulation of a long-dead woman defined solely by social media text addition that saved her smartphone, not the finest moment. Also, the whole thing just came across as very a derivative of Next Generation 11001001 Tapestry and Hollow Pursuits. Now that the secondary plot was a lot more fun, what happens with the species steeped in tradition and taboos, extremely regimented and prone to addictive behaviors, like at least in Bortus' case, is exposed to a highly addictive substance to which just happens to be never exposed to a couple to weight and heightened sensitivity that absorb directly into their inhalants. Junkie dumpster fire. Yeah, exactly right. That was literally the worst people to introduce something as addictive as cigarettes to. It could not have.
But it only happened because of the freaking because they found these artifacts from that time capsule. You never would have been there if it wasn't for that.
It can't all be all gems. At least the next episode. 3 weeks? That seems far more promising. Here's the thing. I think you are oversimplifying Malloy here. He wasn't a pathetic loser. He got to learn to like this lady's life. It wasn't just like, oh, I watched a movie and fell in love with the actress on the screen. No, he got to learn so much about her.
You're kind of putting down Malloy there when you shouldn't.
Yeah, there was way more context of.
I felt sorry for him more than saying he was a loser. I didn't get
because why wouldn't he have just made a fake VR girlfriend before this?
Yeah, exactly. And he's been in plenty of simulators. He makes his own simulations. So, and he always just treats them like simulators.
And again, the parallels to past Trek episodes, it's not a bad thing. These are good episodes. Again, if you're gonna, borrow story elements, which again, Trek didn't invent all these things. There's always been stories about fake, even if it was just magic and not science fiction. But these type of things happen.
Twilight Zone,
stuff like that. There was a Twilight Zone episode where a guy had a typewriter and he could invent things, and he made himself his perfect wife. But he made her too strong-willed, and she was kind of mean, but he kind of liked that about her. Then he just deleted her, and he had another girlfriend that was more. He didn't write her with as much personality, so she was more subservient. It's again a holodeck episode with it being just a magical thing.
It's the same thing. Yeah, it's the same
so
thing.
Technically, it's not it's always copying Trek. These are classic storylines.
No, but you have to remember, Orville, I think for the most part, always 99.9% of the time copies the good aspects of Star Trek, as opposed to Discovery copying things of Orville that don't make sense in Star Trek. See. That's the problem.
That's going to be our last comment. Thanks for all the comments. I love all the different insights and ideas and thoughts and feelings about it. A lot of people liked this episode. Some people didn't like it. And then we can discuss it.
Yeah.
And that's what I love so much about the Orville, that we can have complete disagreements about aspects of the characters and stories. And it's fine.
Yeah.
The comments that are left on the Discovery videos, and some people get really salty. There is no conversation.
No.
It just becomes a shouting match. That has not happened here yet.
No.
And I'm so glad that the community for the Orville seems to be much more willing to have discussion.
Well, I think it's people that want to see substance that watch the Orville.
And it's all new, too.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not steeped in this decades and decades of tradition and story.
Man, I can't wait until it is, to be honest with you. I can't wait to have all those layers.
I would love
I'm
that.
Excited.
If we can get spin-offs and more shows and another seasons and it goes in, it would be so cool.
I've said this, I remember a while back, but I'm going to say it again. This would have must felt like when they watched Star Trek back in the 60s for the first time. Like, wow, this is something amazing. This is something I want to build a legacy on and do all that. And now we're getting it here early, and I love it. We're getting it from the beginning.
We're on the ground floor.
Yeah.
I've always, again, I remember if you can go back when we first started talking about the show, Seth MacFarlane, I don't know, but I'm going to trust him. I'm going to go in there because I know he loves science fiction. So I know he's going to
Those special effects was sold me from the very beginning when I saw that.
And then we saw the first couple episodes, man, this is something special, and I'm glad we're here.
Oh, then you saw About a Girl. That was it.
I was like, okay, I'm saddled. I'm strapped in. I'm riding this horse all the way to the end.
Yeah, it was amazing.
But, great comments.
Yep. And another thing I want to mention, too, is the music. The singing was amazing. And sweet little moment. I guess there's this a big web thing where they do like the top musical performances on TV every week, and Orville won for that music that Scott Grimes did with her at the end.
That was so sweet.
So sweet, yeah. Like, oh, that's sweet. I got a little mention.
And he got his promise. Oh, let me come up and sing with you.
Because we usually don't do any sci-fi, but this is the best song.
McFarlane loves music.
Oh yeah, he
the
does.
Orchestra. There's some videos online where they'll do a live orchestra with the I think they even did it with Identity.
Yeah.
Where the episode's playing up on screen, but there's a live orchestra doing the music. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Guys, if they did like a tour like the Orville music like in the summer, and if they came here, I'd have to go see.
Oh yeah, I would definitely try to get that done.
That'd be done.
Because I know Games Live and a couple other.
Oh, those are cool too.
They come here to the state.
They're smart to come in November because we're in a hot state. But yeah.
Yeah, West Coast. Oh, so hot. Yeah. So it was over 90 degrees today. Ridiculous. But thanks for the comments, guys. We got a new episode tomorrow.
Oh yes,
it's been 3 weeks. Yay!
Can't wait.
We've been stuck with just Discovery for my science fiction. Thank God I got something.
And I think that's what made it worse for me. I need to have the counter Orville to cleanse my palate from the disgustingness of Discovery.
Something nice that I can enjoy before I get punched in the face. You know.
Exactly.
But keep the comments coming, guys. We love them. Let people know we do these types of videos because I know there's a lot of. Well, I remember when I would comment on things, I always thought, man, I wish there was some more interaction there. But we were having that interaction now. And I'm glad that you guys are here. I see new names. I see names coming back week after week. We appreciate and love all you guys.
Yeah, we do.
So keep liking the videos, keep sharing them, and we'll see you guys next week. I've been your host, Crimson Sen.
PCA.
See you guys later.
See you later. Bye.
Crimson Sen here. Thanks for watching the video. If you're enjoying the content, be sure to sub, like, share, and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss a single upload. If you have any tips or story ideas, hit us up on Twitter at C15Podcast, or better yet, join our Discord server, link in the description below.